and I got my degree in printmaking.
Western New York, was garbage plates a thing where you grew up?
Oh yeah. You know about garbage plate? I don't feel stuck there. When I was teaching before, I'm like, I'm gonna be doing this for 25 years. When I'm teaching now, I'm like,
VeeFam, what's up? We are back with another episode of the VeeFam Sessions. My name is Mr. Messer, but you can call me Rob, and I am here with the one, the only teacher, artist, founder of the LivingBots, Mr. Tim Livingston. Tim, thank you for being here. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for remembering LivingBots because, there's been some things with changing the name. So I appreciate that you've been following so closely that you knew that. I'm happy to be here, man. I love what you've been doing. You've been meeting with all these community members in these VeeFam sessions. And it's been fun to watch and get to know everybody. And like I said before we connected online here, it felt like we already did this, but we just did it in spaces. So it's good to do it face to face.
Totally. I mean, you've been on many people's radar, but I've always been watching and cheering you on. And, from before when it was just an idea, VectorBots, and then I had you on when I did my stint in Web3, doing marketing shows. I had you on when you were rebranding. So I've always been following it and admiring. So we have that, and the teacher connection. It's just another level with you. So I'm so happy that we could finally do this. Thank you for your time. But I'm going to treat you like everyone else. Let's start at the beginning. If you could give us the 55-second Cliff Notes version on Tim Livingston, who he is prior to ever hearing the phrase NFT.
Wow, okay. I grew up in Western New York. That's way west, like Rochester, Buffalo area. And a really small town, very all white, middle class. Went to a SUNY school there. Took my first art class as an elective my first year at college and fell in love with art. It was a sculpture class. I just knew that I wanted to do it. I told my mom, I'm like, I'm changing my major to art. I need to pursue this. I just felt in my gut that I'd want to create. I never took it. I took like band and chorus and stuff like those types of arts, but not like visual arts. It was such a small school, they couldn't offer like a lot of things. And I was more academic based, which, you got to make choices. You're going to take Spanish, or you're going to take, so I ended up taking like language. So I transferred from one SUNY school to another one in Buffalo, which was more about the arts. And I got my degree in printmaking. So I've got a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in printmaking. And, didn't have the best GPA, probably like a 2.9 GPA, like an A's on all the art classes, C's on like all the other types of classes, because I really just wanted to focus on the art. Graduated, looked for a job in the art field, couldn't really find one, worked as, a stock boy in the grocery store all throughout high school and college, like during breaks. And so I kind of worked there in the interim. I got a job working at a print factory, like a printing press in upstate New York, where we printed hundreds of thousands of vinyl products like binders and payroll documents and checkbook covers, and really quick and cheap, like pre-made that we'd print on and send out. And so I managed that whole operation. That's where I really kind of cut my teeth in the printing industry and learned how to like silkscreen print and like the different like stamping and embossing and like the whole factory, reporting numbers, working in spreadsheets, checking like, everybody's data. I was like managing, every job had a certain amount of time allocated to it, and I had to work to push to like make sure that we were under that time so we could make even more money and that types of things. And then deadlines would change. So I worked in that industry for about 4 years. My wife got a job as a school psychologist. We moved down to North Carolina, which gave me an opportunity to get into education because they had this thing called lateral entry. In New York, you have to have a master's degree to teach.
Oh, yeah.
And down south in North Carolina, there's such a need for teachers that they allow this lateral entry program. So for 3 years, you get, as long as you can show that you worked in the industry of graphic design, which I was working part-time, doing that and working in, doing that in the factory, all that work kind of was like my basis for teaching. I was going to teach like a printmaking class because they had all this printing equipment. They wanted me to teach that. So that got me in the door. My wife was working in the same school system. So they showed me this lateral entry program. They basically walked me through it. They paid for my schooling to go back and get, it took me 3 years to go back, but I was taking small credits every time, new teacher programming, all that kind of stuff. And that was my first 3 years in North Carolina as a teacher. And then we decided to move down south to Florida because we were just going to Disney on all our holidays, and we just loved going to Disney. So that's where I'm at currently. We're about an hour west of Orlando, and we bought a house down here. We absolutely love it. And after we moved down here, I worked as a elementary art teacher for the first year because it was the first job I could find. And so I did that. And then I worked as a computer teacher in high school for about 2 years. Then the pandemic came, and I was working remotely as a teacher during the pandemic. And then I found NFTs. And I was scrolling during the pandemic on my planning period, and I saw Gary draw this robot. I saw him draw the robot and talk about NFTs. And the story of the robot brought me in because I'd always kind of resonated with a robot in a way, because I always kind of felt like I could compartmentalize and like not have too much emotion in one thing, because I always use art as a way to express my emotion, so I was able to regulate it that way. So really, that was longer than 55 seconds. That was probably like 5 minutes, but that takes you from the beginning of where I started all my education and then kind of where I'm at now.
That's a great, hey, it's a great first chapter. Well, the first chapter of the story that we're going to be focusing on for the purposes of this podcast. And we're definitely going to tap into the rare robot. But just to take a quick step back, Western New York, was garbage plates a thing where you grew up?
Oh yeah. You know about garbage plates?
I went to Rochester like one time, and like during like college or high school trip. I don't know, we went to like Darien Lake to see a Dave Matthews show.
Darien Lake? Wow, that's like my stomping grounds. We went there every summer.
Really? Yeah, we went to see Dave Matthews show there. We spent like 3 days, and like I just remember like we had the only thing that we had to do extracurricular from like the show and whatever shenanigans we were going to get into was like get a garbage plate, and we ended up like stopping at 3 different places, I think. So that is culture there.
They are really good, and probably not good for you. But
no, so
anybody who doesn't know what a garbage plate is,
tell us
what it sounds like. It's basically meat and beans and like other, like you can get breakfast ones, and hot sauce. It's all just on a plate, and you just eat it all up. There's like no buns or anything. You just go. So I always like the grilled cheese one. They had a grilled cheese garbage plate that now you got me thinking about them.
It looks like a plate of garbage, essentially.
It is a trash can lid of garbage. Yeah.
Amazing. So teaching, you kind of tested the waters at many different levels. It sounds like if you're doing elementary all the way up to high school, you bounced out, and we'll get into the internal timeline of the journey. But you bounced out when you found NFTs, correct?
That is true.
And then you've come back.
And yes, after I was working with NFT NYC for probably 2 years. I have 5 events with them over the course of that time. Went to London with them, and I decided I wanted to launch my own project and get away from work, because it was a lot of work, Rob. It was every waking hour of work. When you're working in the event business, like I was doing a lot of stuff, and which I'm glad for, because I'm like a fine-tuned machine now, I feel like, and you kind of have to be when you're running this one-man business. You gotta be able to be efficient as possible. So that job really helped me get efficient. I did want to launch my own thing, and timing, whatever it is, it just wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be. And I thought that the best way, instead of trying to shill NFTs all the time in a market where it's really about hype right now and not as much substance. So I just got to go out and create that substance and show what it really is. Because it's a hard concept. What I'm building is really hard to it's hard to understand on the outside of it, right? You as a teacher have a better glimpse of like what I'm trying to do with these characters, but it's on a deep, deep level. And so in order to be effective with that, I think I have to be in the trenches, because I didn't think that the bots were going to be for middle schoolers. I always thought they were going to be for high schoolers. But when I started teaching middle schoolers, I realized that they should be for middle schoolers, because it's the better demographic. I think that they're more open to hearing it, and they can be more engaged with it and not too cool for it as the high school levels might be. And maybe that's just my thinking. But yeah, I went back out of not only necessity, you know, just to be able to have health insurance again and all these different things. Because as you know, when you're working in Web3, there's, you
Oh,
know,
I mean, yeah,
it's
and
not a stable income.
I mean, it's a the exact situation, not exact, you know, our lifestyles, family stuff, you know, situation is different, but to go back and forth, you know, be working on your own, you know, hunting your own meal in Web3, working remote jobs, and then coming back. So my question, one of the reasons I brought that up was, did you was your teaching any different? Your perspective on how you interact with the kids any different now that you had that time in, you know, working for yourself in the real world, know about like the future and like this technology? I just wanted to hit on that for a sec from your perspective.
100% different, because I don't feel stuck there. When I was teaching before, I'm like, I'm going to be doing this for 25 years. When I'm teaching now, I'm like, this is to show what I can do. And I'm here
I
for
love
X
that.
amount of years until I'm on to something bigger, where I can put my curriculum in the hands of other teachers like me who didn't have the bandwidth to come up with all the stuff that we need to do, because teaching is the most difficult job I've ever done in my life. And it can be the easiest job ever too if you want it to be. And people choose that, and you know that I mean, you've probably seen it yourself. But it can also be the most difficult job in the world, because every single one of those kids learn differently. You have to prepare things on paper, in a video, verbally. You have to not. You could lose a kid saying the one wrong sentence in front of their peers, right?
Mm,
It's the ultimate community manager, is being a teacher. And so I think community managing in Web3 helped me community manage in the classroom, because, you know, dealing with all the speakers and everything at NFT NYC and all the organizers and the different printers and a lot of different personalities, that helped me kind of like regulate my emotions better in the classroom, which I think before I might have been a little bit more like, take it personal. I don't know, like
yeah.
certain kids, like, I don't know. And now I don't really as much. So I think my outlook is changed in two ways. Like, I don't see myself stuck in there, like stuck there. I chose that school. Like, I looked around at different schools and I picked the one that I really wanted, and the one that fits what I want to do. And then the next level of it is, I think, I'm just better at handling it emotionally. And I'm just with AI. Oh my God, AI wasn't around when I was writing lesson plans before,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
huge.
completely given me a leg up.
I love that. And I resonate that with that so hard. I've left twice now. I left elementary when I was up north in Connecticut, and I lasted a year and a half when I was in the
It's
hood,
tough.
essentially. Uh, I was like, man, I'm just gonna put one more year in here, and like between breaking up fights and dealing with like real tough stuff uh, in the projects, I left mid year. Families changed, you know, Web3 jobs are coming, but going just as fast. And so I went back now, and I'm with you so much. Like I go to like I'll step out like during lunch, like to grab a sandwich. I'm like, man, like maybe I just won't come back. Like maybe I won't drive back there right now. Like it's so easy to leave, and it's an ecosystem that this time around, third time around, I'm like feeling I have so much empathy, and I want to help the adults so bad. Like kids, I've always been there for the kids, and that'll
Oh
never
my
change. But
God,
I
I had
feel
to do a
so
workshop
bad.
on AI with the adults. It blew their mind. Like, they need, they're all stressed. They're so
What
stressed. Like,
and
the
but
education
they're zoo
environment.
animals. They just have no idea that there's a whole world out there, and these are 20s, 30s, 40s, you name it, and they just feel like that, probably the same way we felt early in our career, that there's just no other options for them there, and that the school ecosystem is the end all and be all of life. So I just feel for them so hard. Man, I can jam on this, especially with you, for a long time.
Well, the future is in our hands, Rob. I believe the future of education will be more individualized, because I'll be able to teach thousands of kids just like we're doing right now. And COVID
Exactly.
proved that it's possible. for a lot of people to learn that way. The key is I don't want to convince people to learn, right? That's the hardest thing about teaching, and it's like, how do you get them on the hook? For me, it's easier, but it depends on your content. You're playing with robots, so it's probably pretty good for you right now. But yeah, every school is different. Like I said, I seeked out one that I thought was going to be a great fit, and it's working out pretty good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Happy to hear it. I really am. So let's get back on the timeline here. So I'm very curious. When was the first time you remember hearing the name Gary Vee?
Oh, I've been following Gary for a while because I'm a big Jets fan. So I don't know when it was. So I got this signed at VeeCon right here, the last VeeCon. Gary Vee, go Jets.
Dope.
I started following him a while ago because I'm like, oh, this guy, because I'm a high energy guy. He resonates with me in that way where he just says what he's thinking, and he always messed with the Jets hard, and so that's when I started. It probably been like, I don't know. I never got into him with the wine stuff. I only knew him as like a crazy Jets guy who was an entrepreneur.
Amazing. What era are we talking? Because Jets has always really been part of his shtick. He at any point he could have dropped a serious
2015 maybe.
Okay, so not so kind of middle of the road in the whole landscape, but for the purposes of the general makeup of this VeeFriends community, probably pretty early.
I remember I sent him a DM a long time ago, probably like 2016, 2015, that I had like photoshopped him and like tried to get a job, like it was just one DM early. Like way long ago.
That's so funny. So you're following along, and it's May of 2021, and he's starting to talk about blockchain, NFTs, MetaMask, all of this. Is this totally new with your being kind of close to technologies? Are these things, crypto, totally new to you? Or are you learning with the community?
Oh yeah, I totally knew nothing. I got my first MetaMask. I didn't know anything. I was trying to win some free stuff, man. I was trying to. Yeah. If you just saw just yesterday, he was throwing out some V1s to some people. So Gary's very generous, and he in the early days he gave away a lot of VeeFriends, tons of them, goos even, and Corso got one, and then I watched a YouTube video of Corso on how to like mint an NFT on OpenSea and create your own collection, and that's when VectorBots was born. And so like I owe a lot to like the people that he highlighted through who he gave things to in that way. And I kind of followed them, and I wanted to win something free. And one day I was mowing the lawn, and I came back in because it's hot in Florida, and I was taking a break. I had some water. I opened up the laptop, threw the Discord open, and Gary was doing like an AMA in the Discord. And there was only like 30 people. It had just started. So I'm like, ooh. And I jumped in there, and I got on stage with him, and my mic didn't work. I couldn't get the mic to work. And I think Burge was the Discord mod at the time. And Gary's like, Burge, get in Tim's DMs and tell him we'll get him back on when his mic's fixed. And then he waited, and I got on after that. After like 5 minutes, he waited for me, and I talked to him, and I asked him a couple of questions. And one was, how can an artist like me break through in the space? And he said, keep doing what you're doing, be authentic every day, show up. That's what I've been doing the last 3 years. He said, I was like, how do I convince people that I'm not crazy about this? And he said, you don't, just be historically accurate. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And then after that, I sold all my magic cards so that I could get enough money to get a V1. I minted a very rare Headstrong Honey Badger for 1.5 ETH just about 1,000 days ago, probably like 1,030 days ago.
Let's go. And this is still Dutch auction time. You didn't
this was all the Dutch auction had gone down. All the cores had been sold out. Cores were selling for 1 ETH on OpenSea at this time, and I decided to pay half an ETH more to get a very rare instead of buying a one off the core. So I could actually mint from the website and choose from what was left. I think at the time I was either going to do a YOLO Yak or a Headstrong Honey Badger. I think there was a Brave Bison I was thinking about as well because of the buffalo,
Yeah.
But I ended up going with the Honey Badger because I'm pretty headstrong. And it seems to be a pretty popular character, honestly. I think they did him dirty in the game. I think he's in the 50s, but he should have definitely been in like the high 60s. But yeah, anyway, I know
it's going to be fun to see how that plays.
Like some of the characters they did wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting if you look at just from a score perspective. I mean, look at the rare robot; it's not even a 70.
They did the robot
The
way wrong.
the crime. Um, so let's go there. Let's go to the robot because the robot was an inspiration to you. I think, and we'll talk about this moment more specifically in a bit. But while we're in this 21 era, and May 2nd, 2023, you tweeted announcing VectorBox NFT Mint Mink partnership with VeeFriends after being inspired to learn about NFT land in 2021 by a rare drawing of a robot I created, a project of my own. You go on to thank Gary for providing the blueprint, excuse me. But what was it about the robot that like really just turned you around in circles?
All my life, I've been an abstract artist. I've drawn lines and shapes and color, and it's never taken form until I drew that alphabet, right? And then I was inspired to keep drawing more robots and more robots, and my line work finally found like a form. Also, like I said, when I saw him draw it the first time, I'm like, I really like robots. I think they're cool. I think that's really interesting. Like the idea of a robot that has emotions, right? The idea there, and like the rare robot. I like the way that it was rare, and it's in quotes, and it's just different than all the other ones. It's like, it's one of the more different adjectives
Yeah.
that's out there, and I think that that's really unique and fun. It's the best one, Rob. We can agree. I know people think that it's the cat, but
Hey,
we know
I'm a big robot fan. I'm a big robot fan.
everybody loves it. It's universally loved, and the partnership. Thank you for bringing that up. Humbling to be able to be a part of that project and forever be on the history of that. Although, like I said, it hasn't gone quite to plan. There's been some snafus, but the fact that I was able to be a part of VeeFriends in that way is significant, I think.
100%. And I'd love to double click into the process and to how that went down. But staying on the rare robot for a second before we get into vector bots now,
Sure.
living bots. I feel like, and I'm trying to put my mind in that era, like rare robot, like people thought it was cool, but it didn't really take on a whole different fandom until the song came out.
The best song. It's the
And the
best song.
song put it into a different planet
We have a
universe.
difference of opinion on that. I mean, I feel like it's always been there, but maybe that
It-
illuminated some people to the fact of like how amazing the robot is.
but it was the best song, right?
Oh,
And
easily. People
so
rip people rip those songs and those animations. Like the legit llama, I think, or the aspiring alpaca got. Oh man, people were
yes,
ruthless on that.
there's
But I haven't seen DJ Kaufman draw too many robots in his comics. I've got some problems with that.
all right. Well, DJ's very very open. I'm sure. Have you popped into one of his streams?
I'm gonna have to. I haven't yet because I've been busy with like working, but I see him and I try to repost when I see him because they look really fun. But yeah, the robot is amazing. I think that whatever partnership he does with the robot's going to be a special one.
100%. Well, yeah, I mean, the wine's been great. The sticker, obviously, people love the sticker. That was one of the rare runs. I like how whatever it touches, it's going to be rare. It's going to be tough to get your hands on, which is cool if that's your character. That's
Yeah,
just
it's like the most rare pin, right? And that pin drop.
Exactly. Yep. So let's talk Mint Mink. So there's a lot of the audience here. There's a nice mix of people in different pockets, but a big chunk are new people newer to VeeFriends, specifically through the cards, who might not be aware what Mint Mink is, what that even is. So if you don't mind just explaining what Mint Mink is and how you became a big part of it and an official partner.
Yeah, so Mint Mink is a utility that Mint Mink holders get, and they're eligible for different drops. I think the most recent one being the Lulu drop. I think I may be saying that wrong, but there's been a few drops. I think in total 15 drops. Sometimes they get airdropped to the Mint Mink holders' wallets. Sometimes they're able to mint ahead of time. Sometimes they get to mint at a decreased price. but they work with different artists and different communities to negotiate the holders of Mint Mink tokens, whether it be Series 1 or Series 2, to be able to mint. And Series 2 is available to mint. I actually flipped a Mint Mink token when the announcement was made way back. So, people hold on to those Mint Minks so that they can mint these things in the future. And I assume this is going to go on for years and years. They're going to keep constantly doing this. So to be, I think I was number 14 or something, to be in the same ballpark with people like Timmy Ham that did the Sloth Project, and Avastars and Jimmy Eth, to be even in the same conversation with them is like incredible. These are past Mint Mink things that had happened. PLPs, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, for the new people, it's basically a utility for the Mint Mink holders. So if you hold Series 1 or Series 2 Mint Mink, get in the Discord and keep your ear open for those announcements, because they happen, every 4 to 6 months. There's probably another mint that's going on that's free, or they get some sort of discount or early access.
I love that. And, as you say, it's an exclusive club. Talk to us about the process, or whatever you're willing to share, from behind the curtain, about getting to that point where, like, hey, you're in.
Well, I'm not a shy person, as you probably know. So I'm in everybody's DMs. I'm emailing everybody, and I'm trying to figure out who's running the show where. And I figured out who's running the show, and I got a hold of them, and I explained my case. And we had a meeting just like this, and I explained what I would do, and I said that I would airdrop them to everybody because I wanted to get it. So I wanted to make sure that I got it. So I didn't want people to pay for them. I didn't want people to have to connect to a site. I didn't want anybody to have to do anything. Unfortunately for me, that was going on during the height of the meme coin season, and gas prices were insane.
Oh, yeah.
I spent about 4 ETH sending tokens to VeeFriends holders through the Mint Mink transfers. So I transferred everybody who had a Mint Mink, a vector bot at the time. And now that contract is actually, I had to lock the contract, so those are soul-bound tokens. So they're still in everybody's wallets. They're just currently locked because I got rugged by Third Web, and it's a whole thing. So,
oh no, I'm sorry.
That's that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, Rob. But basically, if you're interested in it, just you can get a hold of Andy through email. You can get a hold of Gary through email. You can get a hold of Jeremy through email. You can get a hold of Jeremy through DMs. Jeremy knows, if you're new, like, he's an amazing community member who also works for VeeFriends. And I have a close personal friendship with him because we just came up through it. You know what I mean? So being able to talk to him and get some guidance was really valuable.
Jeremy's name in this particular podcast, it comes up every so often. He was around for a little bit, but very cool, great honor, especially it was you minted 5/5/23. That's right, a couple weeks prior to VeeCon when everything's hot. So that must have been super fun. On the Mint Mink thing, I just popped in my head. I love, and people that listen to this often hear me talk about this all the time, but it's true. Like, I love the little niche communities and sub communities within this larger community, and some are built on purpose, like with utility, like the Hangout Hawks or the Goats. But Mint Mink is one I never thought about, and one of my friends / VeeCon friends, because it's like we're hanging out at every VeeCon now. Shout out Dave Richardson. He was talking, he's a Mint Mink holder, and he said, like, it's such a tight knit group because it's a whole another level of like interacting. Like, they learn together, they do research together whenever they learn who what the next mint is, or who it is, or the artist, or the founder, or their mission. So which I thought was really cool. It's like a collaborative effort, which you obviously, as educators, we love to see. So I thought that was a real cool side.
Absolutely, it is pretty fun to see, like, the card community and the the hardcore people that are, like, all about certain characters. And like you said, the FaceTime people, yeah, it makes sense. I didn't really think about the Mint Minks doing that, but that could be definitely a bonding experience, especially because, like, do we sell this one? Do we buy this one? Like,
right.
More of these? Like, what's this about? I could definitely see that. Because that was the fun. For me, it was, I didn't really get into the hype too much. The reason I did well during the bull market was because I had a good eye for like quality art, and I was able to avoid a lot of the pump and dumps because like most of them didn't have a lot of thought put into the artwork.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense.
And so, like World of Women was like beautiful to me, and obviously Gary had a hand in like illuminating certain projects to people in the Discord and people following on the socials. So that was definitely one of them that perked me up because I just the way I looked, I just thought was really nice. But anyway, yeah, it's fun to see all the little niche communities within communities within communities.
I mentioned VeeCon. Let's take it back to VeeCon 1. The first time, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Just quickly from Tim Livingston's perspective, what was that like for you?
That was kind of a stressful one because that was right before I worked for NFT Miami Week, running the volunteers down here, and then I had to do that. Then I had VeeCon, and then I had NFT NYC. So I was both at one time. I was working for NFT NYC and NFT Miami Week at the same time, and then in between that was VeeCon, and so that was like I had to like go there, do my thing, and leave, and I couldn't really enjoy it as much. I wish I could have done a day before, a day after, or played around a little bit longer and stayed a little bit longer. But that was really fun because I got to meet a lot of people for the first time, there, and meet a lot of new people. A lot of people didn't know VeeFriends that were there, so it was kind of fun to kind of see the people that were curious about NFTs. Obviously, all the different celebrities and being able to be really close up and get like pictures with people if you wanted to, and they had fun activations. They had like one of the fun things I remember from that was those little booths up at the top where you could kind of rent and reserve. And we did like a Spaces up there, and somebody did like a Series 1 box break up there. And it was kind of fun to kind of just have the whole place to ourselves.
Boardroom suites or something? It was something like that.
Yes. Those were cool.
Awesome. Was there any...
Fun fact, I snuck to the top. I went to the restricted sections, and I went all the way up to the top of the stadium, and we were asked to leave. But I was there. We watched
leave that section or leave the arena.
People talk from the very top.
Nice.
And then on my way down, the guy was like, "You have to leave." I was like, "Okay, well, we're leaving anyway." So, there was like one security guard for like the whole building, right?
Right.
So, I probably shouldn't have said.
I wonder if you were one of the ones that they panned on when they would show random people sitting by themselves up there.
Yeah, I was. Yep. It was crazy because it was a huge space, right? It was an enormous space.
Huge.
It was fun though because they had like the bean toss and like stuff right by the stage. I think VeeCon 1 was better than VeeCon 2. Do you agree?
Interesting. To me, it's so different. I feel like they up leveled in a lot of ways from 2 to 1. If I had to say what is better, like VeeCon 1 is always going to be super special. So like if I had to pick, like because that's the first time
the field days were pretty incredible though. I really did like the field days at VeeCon 2.
Yeah, I mean there were the community stage, what they did there.
Busta was pretty amazing.
Busta was amazing. But so was Wyclef. Like, were you there for that?
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, because Jordan Sparks was pretty good too. VeeCon 2 was pretty good. I did see some good talks of VeeCon 2 as well. I think you're right. I think VeeCon 1 I might be just like reminiscing about and being nostalgic because I met all the people there.
It's hard to compare. They're like, almost like comparing like your dogs or your children. Like it's hard to, it's hard to decide. But one will always be special. But 2, they implemented, I feel like every piece of outside of like things that were primarily out of their control, like food, they implemented so much feedback and executed on that, which I
was there.
No, it's hard to do
at VeeCon 1 when people were like running to the merch booth. I was one of them. I didn't run, but I saw it happen. It was pretty crazy. Were you there for that?
I saw it. I wasn't in there, but I saw it. I mean,
I was at the gates. I was ready to get my hoodie, but then chaos ensued.
Did you get a hoodie?
No. I got a white one later. I've got 2 white ones actually because Tiger hooked me up.
at VeeCon at
No,
the
like
place or
recently,
after?
like a year, maybe a year ago, he sent them to me.
Nice.
I won something, and he sent me one, and then somebody else won like a medium, and they didn't want it, so he sent them both to me. I was like, sweet, I'll
Nice.
squeeze my fat butt in a medium.
There you go. I mean, if especially if it's one of those 22s, which are I think a cool little collectible, especially with that epic story attached. Because I mean, everyone knows that story. I think that's just one of those things people will associate.
It's the cream one. It's not the tie dye or the black one. I wanted the black one. The black one's pretty cool because that has
Black
the
one,
different characters on it, right? That has
yeah,
the new characters. The tie dye one has the new characters too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I came away with an XL tie dye or double XL, whatever was
Is
left.
it still in packaging, or do you rock it?
And my wife Chelsea rocks it. I mean, when you go to VeeCon and you have to leave someone behind,
Fair.
you take this
Fair.
and you do whatever you want with it. So,
It's fair.
and we're still married.
Yeah, she deals with you. That's
Yeah.
probably
um, Amazing. And I imagine you're going to LA Live this year. Is that on your docket?
I'm trying to make it happen, man. I just got a contract with NFT NYC to push them through the home finish of this event here, and I think that's going to allow me to do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hope to see you there. We talked about how it was so special to meet so many people. Let me ask this question first. What does the word community mean to you?
Support. That's what I've felt from the community, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without all that support. So that's kind of what it means.
And how is this VeeFriends community different than other ones you've been a part of?
I think that the people here that I've met and have become friends with think like I do and try to do the right thing most of the time, right? I don't know. It's like bringing like-minded people together, right? In around like empathy and kindness and like the core values that are important. So I think that there's that. Also, there's a lot of talent here. I see a lot of amazing, talented people that I can like when you sit next to high performers, you know what I mean? You get better. So I want to be
Yeah.
able to like absorb and get feedback from them and learn because there's a lot of different people here. So we think alike, but we're all different and have different things to add, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I could talk to you about like lesson plans and different things that you're doing, how to incentivize good behavior in your Messer dollars and all that. And like I could talk to Teacher 96 about the same thing, and I could talk about with other people about like graphic design stuff, and I could talk to Jeremy about like social media things and different stuff like that. So it's just a lot of different talent pools to kind of be able to pull from and get support from. Right? Support comes in a lot of ways. It's not just double tapping a post. It's educating, giving feedback, and all that.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good answer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not my brain isn't great at remembering quotes, but you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It sticks with me all the time. I think about it all the time, especially when I'm making those quick decisions. And I'm with you 100%. Like we're just surrounded. I'm so grateful for the types of people and the intent of the people that we're choosing to spend our time with in this community. And on that, you said something that struck a chord. Where with that comes kindness, comes people that are supportive. But I have to call out because like you said, you're not shy. You kind of call it like it is. Like you are not shy to like give your opinion and like put it out there, which is there's a few people around that do it, but it's tough to do. It's tough to do, period. But especially in an ecosystem where everyone's kind of pushed towards like let's be agreeable, let's be kind, let's be supportive. Where some people don't necessarily recognize someone's tone, and it's tough in a tweet. But someone's coming off trying to be productive or give constructive criticism to help. So I just wanted to call that out. I don't know if that
Yeah, I
means
just got
anything to you or
blocked
not,
recently
but
by somebody that didn't like what I retweeted, and I it shook me a little bit, Rob, because like I'm not trying to like get engagement. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be me. You know what I mean? And I've got group chats where I can vent a little bit more, and that's where I go for that, and that helps me. And I feel like if I can be a voice also for what I know, because I've got a lot of DMs too when people think about things, you know, like the retweet that I'm talking about specifically was an individual calling Gary out for like him buying V2s at such a high rate, and like nothing has happened, and he's just angry. And I retweeted saying, you know, I've been seeing a lot of this. What do you guys think about this? I just want to get a dialogue because I don't think like these people are valid for how they feel. That's how they feel.
Yeah.
Most times people just want to be heard. And so let's let them be heard. Let's talk about it, because things were said. But at the end of the day, it comes down to personal accountability, and I think we need to have that conversation in a respectful way. So bringing it up, I think, is okay. And yeah, I talk about things like book games. I'm not a big fan. You know, I think I think it kind of ruined the ecosystem of the NFTs as it were, and how all that worked. But I'm not as good of a businessman as Gary. I don't know better than him, and I'm just putting my BS into the world because, you know, why not? I feel like I don't feel like I'm right. I just feel like, hey, this is what I think about this. I just like to. I'm kind of a combative person, a little bit argumentative. I don't get offended. I'm like a robot in that way. I don't get emotionally invested in it. I'm seeking out logic. I'm seeking out opinions and why you think that way. So,
You don't mind the dialogue that might not be 100% friendly and agreeable. Like,
right. I try to keep it respectful for sure. But I think it's okay to disagree on points for sure.
Well, you know, it's helpful, and a lot more people probably agree with you than would in whatever the case. And I'm not like, there's no specific time in my mind. I'm just speaking in generalization. I'm sure there's a lot more people that wouldn't post that, like you said, would DM you privately, but like, yeah, like I agree with you. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that appreciate that feedback that can't publicly put like, thank you for that feedback. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic with situations like that. But, you know, you're one of the few people that, you know, just puts it all out there. So
I think it's best to be in the middle on things. I think sometimes people can put others on a pedestal and everything they say is golden. And other times people can be way too critical of somebody. And so, you know, you just can't dwell on it. It's not like I'm spending all day like researching it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just a thought that pops in my head and I just, you know, put it out in the world.
Yeah.
But I get it. I should be focusing more on my stuff all the time, right? Than criticizing or judging others, but we're only human.
Sure. And then, you know, the other, I do have to give you some roses for the quality content. Like, you super talented, like, and I know how much of a grind it is to put together short videos. You're doing more long form. You know, you got the good graphics, like you're it's all, the quality is there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But great breakdown videos, great, like I think you had like a shared viewing of the announcement with Moonbug. Just really good stuff that I wanted to publicly say good job for. But yeah, check it. If you're just listening to this and don't know Tim, check out his stuff. Kind of scroll down a little bit, check out the kind of content he's been put out there.
You're gonna see a lot of retweets from NFTs because I'm trying to boost the algo.
Yeah.
don't judge me too harsh.
As the content, you know, speaking from someone that I don't live for it, but I know that it's important, so I try to get better at it. Is that something that you need to like rah yourself to do, or do you just love doing it?
I made a goal. I saw some videos and some content that VeeFriends had put out, and I was like, I can do better than this. So I did. In my opinion, I was like, I'm just going to make it. I'm just going to make some stuff. I'm going to show them what I can do. I'm going to show the community. I'm going to provide value to the community at the same time as showing everybody my skill set. And I think that I accomplished the job. I went 14 days. I think I went 3 weeks, and I produced. I think I only missed like 2 or 3 days between those. And my goal is every day to make a video. and to create something about like a thread or a video or something, and put it out there. And the result actually, I think, got me back in with these guys, because one night I saw the NFT NYC had retweeted one of my videos, and then the next day they called me. And so sometimes you're trying to impress Peter and you impress Paul, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. Well, yeah,
I've been
keep
burning
on
up
doing.
the VeeFriends tree for a while. I've had a meeting with, I've met with Andy, I've met with May twice. It's just not my time yet.
Yeah, everyone has their own timing. Everyone has their own path. Um, you know, I think patience. The
It may
patient
be
pigs.
better as me on the outside doing partnership deals and doing things with schools and stuff like that. I think that's my
There,
long-term vision.
yeah. There's people out there. I'm not going to put them on blast, but there's people in there that have had opportunities that said no. Like it, I need to be able to do my own thing and not be attached. Which I totally empathize with. The deeper I get into this project and have other aspirations that are attached to this project, I'm like, would I be able to do that if I was, officially branded? And I don't know. So not that people are knocking on my door, but you think about these things.
I wouldn't be
So
able to post my BS on the timeline, that's for sure. So you do give up some things, right?
yeah,
But the thing that got me excited about VeeFriends was just the idea of building these characters, and it's fun to see them
yeah,
be built and to be able to have a part of that, whatever way that manifests, would be special. And already doing so with the Mint Mink has been special. And it's just gonna. I'm just gonna follow. I'm just putting my sail up, Rob, and we're gonna see where the wind blows. I do envision VeeFriends having an office down here in Florida somewhere. I don't want to go to New York. And so it's just, when it's right, it's right. And I know a lot of people in the community want to work for VeeFriends, but like you said, we can provide a lot of value from the community standpoint, and we can really do our own thing in a meaningful way.
yeah. I'm 155% with you on that. Amazing. And like, it's so cliche, but like we're so early.
Well, I'll
Like,
tell you. I mean, my motivation early was the Sorcerer Scholarship. Did you try for that?
yeah, I didn't put my best. I probably put a bullshit, like not my best effort in. I think it was like a last minute Hail Mary.
For those of
Um,
you who don't know what that is, basically, very early in the VeeFriends days, Gary had 5 Sorcerer Scholarship tokens that were in his wallet, and you basically went through a series of steps. The first step was writing a letter to get to the next step. I failed that. I didn't get to the next step. Basically,
yeah,
and then the offer was, if you got the token, you could work like an intern, basically, like they would offer you like an internship, and I'm not even sure who won those tokens, but that was a big motivation for me early on to like try to get some attention, because that's why I was going for.
and you know who put that on a pedestal was Jeremy, and he didn't get it, and it kind of lit another fire under him, and look where he is.
We both
Um,
lit our fires together. I
yeah,
remember he had an amazing poem. He had like a poem. It touched me. And I really think he should have got it, to be honest. But it is what it is. The people who got it are probably amazing as well. I just don't know who they are. I've just got a personal
mhm,
connection with Jeremy.
yeah. Well, I have a feeling that it happened the way it was supposed to.
As do
Uh,
most things.
so number one, which VeeFriends character do you, Tim, need to spend more time with?
Oh man, patient panda, man. Me and the panda need to. I'm always go go go. I want it yesterday, but I think Gary said this the other day. Like the bigger the thing you want to build, the slower you have to go.
Mhm.
And what I want to build is pretty significant, and so
Yeah.
it's going to take some time.
The people that we're talking about and referencing, amazing people. Generally, they're humble, and people blow the whistle a lot for um, people that are doing the right things. Sometimes not the best things. I'd love to hear if you have any quick story or any person that you want to blow the whistle on in a positive way. Maybe you saw them do something for someone else, or maybe you. Quick little roses shout out.
My ride or die in the VeeFam community is Teacher 96, who is Katie. I talk with her probably 2-3 times a week on the phone. I just had a conversation with her today. She helps me stay patient. She is the panda. I know she's the pheasant, like her character is the faithful pheasant, but I met her at the first ever NFT NYC I went to in 2021, right before the secret wine party, and she told me that what I was doing was right and that I was going to make it and that my ideas were good, and she validated me leaving the classroom. She validated a lot of things that I had questions about. And we've maintained a friendship ever since. And so, like, she's a special person to me, and so that's who I would shout out.
Love Katie. She's a very special person.
She's in a lot of DMs. She wouldn't like the credit. She's probably mad that I'm saying her name right now. If she's watching this, she's pissed. But yeah, she's an incredible person. Very caring.
Amazing. Yeah. Very, very true. I can attest to that. Before we get into our last segment, Tim, I just want to thank you for everything you're putting out to the world. Just the education first. We didn't see that in NFTs. Like, no one talked about like actually education. Like, we have GTs a lot out there trying to reach kids now. But back when everyone just trying to make a quick dime, you always had this. So that has always spoke to me, so I appreciate that. And like, I always think of the VeeFriends tree, like you said, like, people are talented, and I think you're one of those strong branches on that tree. So thank you for doing everything you're doing, and for coming on. So the last segment, micro macro Spitfire, I'm going to shout out a whole bunch of questions really fast. I want you to go as general as you want in the macro, or you can get your microscope out and really elaborate on your answer as to why. So totally your choice. Here we go. If someone is just getting into the VeeFriends ecosystem right now for the first time, who is a must follow for them?
They must follow and put notifications on for Gary. I'm going to say that. Follow VeeFriends Cards account, follow the official accounts, and just be into the information. If you're asking me for a certain person, I guess I'm going deeper. If you're asking me for a specific person, I would say I really enjoy, I already talked about Katie, Teacher 96, but she doesn't put out a ton of content. I'm trying to think whose content really resonates with me. I like Burge from the UK. He really kind of is fun. I'm going to say Burge. You got to follow Burge. You got to go across the pond.
There you go. The favorite teacher you had growing up, and one reason why?
Oh, this is the best question ever. His name is Mr. Heller, or Senor Heller. He was my Spanish teacher. And although I never took art in high school, I did take 4 levels of Spanish. I was terrible at Spanish, terrible. But he was such a great teacher because he was really fun, and he told jokes, and he kept it light. And it was difficult. His class was difficult, but he got me. I got through it, and I took Spanish 4. And in Spanish 4, we learned about Spanish culture, and one of the parts was Spanish art, and like Degas and all Picasso's and all the Spanish art, and that's where I got exposed to fine art for the first time, and I'll be forever grateful to Mr. Heller for that. If I could be half the teacher Mr. Heller is, I will be a happy man.
Amazing. I love that. What brand or maybe person, notable person or brand, company, whatever, if they came out with an NFT project tomorrow, would you stop, clear your schedule, and to make sure you aped into that token?
If The Rock did The Rock.
Oh, you're a WWE guy.
Oh yeah, it's WWE season 2, man, and WrestleMania
it's a
right
big one.
corner.
I got roped back in.
It's amazing.
I got roped back in. Chelsea and I actually just went to a house show. I haven't been in 2 decades.
It's amazing right now. We're going back into the second golden age of wrestling right now.
Yeah.
They're growing faster than the NBA, the NFL, any sport. They're huge. They're really smart with what they're doing. I think that the marketing is genius.
Oh, 100%.
And Triple H running things is just, I love it.
I have to pivot then. Favorite Attitude Era wrestler?
Oh, Attitude, it's The Rock. But like, if you want to say besides The Rock, like, I don't like Stone. I'm going to tell you, I hate Stone Cold. I'm not a Stone Cold guy. All right.
Why?
I loved Owen Hart. R.I.P. Owen Hart for me, I loved him. I always felt like he was in the shadows of his older brother. Like he was a great wrestler. He had
Yeah.
amazing. He was an amazing technician. Owen Hart after The Rock. Owen Hart.
One of my favorite matches of all time is Owen versus Brett. WrestleMania 10 when Owen beat Brett. Fantastic match.
Owens.
Secret RIP. So tragic. Secret talent you have that most people don't know.
That I played guitar for 20 years and I'm pretty darn good, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite physical piece of VeeFriends or Gary V memorabilia. That's right. Teased him earlier in the episode. If you caught us late, head back. Favorite movie?
Big Fish by Tim Burton.
Favorite Pixar character?
It's gonna be Alphabot when they sign my movie deal, but for now, Old Man from Up.
Carl.
Yeah, Carl. He's fantastic.
Wine, beer, or coffee?
Oh, coffee.
Paper Hands Pony or the Koala 2025?
Oh, man. Let's Paper Hands it.
Bougie hotel or hiking, camping in the woods?
Oh, camping, hiking. Yeah.
What's your favorite Disney ride?
I think the best ride is Flight of Passage. Or, no. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
Okay. I haven't done that. We know that VeeCon 2024 is going to be in LA. This is two-part question. Is there going to be a VeeCon 2025? And if so, where?
There 100% will be. And I would bet my V1 on it. Where? I'm going to say New Jersey.
New Jersey. At the Meadowlands?
Maybe. I think that one's going to be huge. That one's good. VeeCon 4 is going to sell out so quick. And we'll probably get like early access for a discount. I think that's what's going to happen. And there'll be a lot more tickets because Gary sells out everywhere. The biggest problem was people not buying the NFTs. So I think they've solved this. I think they've solved it with the website now, honestly, now that everybody has a wallet right on the website. I think that just cuts out having to get a MetaMask and that whole thing. You just need an email address and now you have a crypto wallet essentially through VeeFriends.com. Really cool update. They got the magic wallet. For anybody who not familiar, if you go to VeeFriends.com and you sign up, you automatically have a crypto wallet. It's called the magic wallet, and it's there. And so if you do win anything or somebody gives you a ticket to VeeCon, they can send it to that wallet, and you're already taken care of. And it's connected to your VeeFriends account. So I think it's getting easier.
I'm sold. I forgot where I was for a few seconds there. If you're from the team listening, just listen back to that last 30 seconds. What a plug. You guys need this guy. I'm learning all over again with the magic wallet. Look at that. You had me in a euphoric state.
What can I say? I mansplain everything.
Holy shit. I'm just floored with that. All right. Back to business. Nickelodeon or Comedy Central?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I went way, way deep on that one. It's got to be Nickelodeon for me. Just, Doug. That's my childhood, man.
I love Doug. Favorite concert you've ever been to?
I used to go to this festival called Modown. It's like a jam band festival. This band called Mo, and they played like 6 sets a night. It was incredible.
I know Mo.
You could get right up in the front. Loved it.
Would you rather go to a 2-hour dinner with Gary, you, and let's say 9 other people, a group dinner, or a 15-minute one-on-one?
Oh, 15-minute one-on-one.
And last question, if you could ask Gary one question and you had to answer truthfully, what would you ask him?
What can I do better with the project that I've created? And how can I improve it?
I love it. Guys, can we still call you VectorBot Tim or no? Is it just Tim?
I got them VectorBot bottom jeans and the boots with the fur, Rob. You can call me whatever you want, bro.
The artist formerly known as VectorBot Tim.
To be honest, Rob, I'm glad that VectorBot Tim has died. Not because I didn't think it was clever and I didn't like the name. It's because I think I can do even more than just the robots. And I don't think I need to label as one thing. And I do think the robots are better being LivingBots, because then it puts a piece of me into it, and the tagline, robots with heart, just makes a little bit more sense. So I think, like you said, everything happens for a reason. I'm optimistic about the future. I wonder sometimes. I think, are NFTs gonna make it? Like, are we gonna make it? Is this Am I crazy? You ever think that, Rob?
I think I don't know if it's because I just consume so much, but I live and I totally believe with all my soul that the technology, the blockchain technology, is going to rule. Like it can't go back. But these NFTs, how we think of them as collectibles, I don't know. Like it could be a bottle cap or a pog, or it could be baseball cards. We just don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's knowing that technology exists and knowing to just get in front of it in the passions that you have is kind of the route I'm taking. So
I mean, it makes
it
sense,
doesn't
right?
matter
I
if
hope
it
that it
makes
can
it.
be adopted in a safe way,
Yeah,
that makes sense for everybody. Because, like, let's take Taylor Swift tickets, for instance. Signed up for a credit card, went through all the things. Ticketmaster still screwed up and couldn't get everybody who did all the things the access they needed, right?
sure.
So
Yeah,
I think the ability to incentivize and reward your biggest fans and know who they are and be able to reward them is going to be really beneficial. And Gary's able to do that. I mean, did you see the gift goat thing today? It was actually really cool.
yeah.
So,
Bonus
a
gift.
little bonus, right? And so
Um,
I think that's fun. But I working in the industry for a while, it's like they do NFT tickets at NFT NYC, and it's not as easy as people think. Like NFT tickets seems like a no brainer, right? Because you've got that souvenir, we've got that digital collectible, and but they've been perfecting non NFT tickets for 20 some years. So like, it's gonna take some time until we can get
sure.
in at the same
Everything
level,
does.
right?
100%.
Yeah,
Well, you have a fantastic NFT NYC season. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of great content from you coming in photos and whatnot. And then, yeah, till then, we'll just say see you at VeeCon.
appreciate you having me, Rob. Yeah, can't wait to see you
Of
there.
course. Pleasure, Tim. Thank you. Guys, livingbots.io. Check Tim on Insta, on X. We'll do all of that. I'll plug it all. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll talk soon, bud.
Appreciate you.